It's mailbag time here on Chicago Bears Now. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Welcome in. Appreciate everybody for joining us here today. Use hashtag Bears or Super Chat, and we will answer all of your questions. Good old Don Burr with the Super Chat first. Detroit Pistons, Lions, best draft, DVE? I don't know. Detroit versus everyone, that's right. Okay, Don Burr, thank you for the $2. Ram Pondy, what will it take to get more first-round picks? I mean, look, I don't think unless you trade like Roquan Smith or Justin Fields, but they're not going to do that. I don't think you're getting first-round picks for players you have. I don't think Robert Quinn's getting you a first. David Montgomery's not getting you a first. So you don't have a ton to really get you more first-round picks. You could trade back from your current first with a team that maybe has multiple firsts. I'd have to look at who those teams are, but we don't even know where the Bears will be picking yet. So, those are a couple ways, but there's really no way to get more firsts right now. Caden Gunvaldson, Bears will Trestan Ebner have a larger than expected role? I do think Ebner could be a sleeper. I saw, might have been Adam Hogue. Someone kind of, I don't think it was Hogue actually, but someone kind of called him Tariq Cohen with bigger size. Now, less ability as like a guy who could line up in the slot, but the guy who can catch the football. He made a couple of nice plays during OTAs and minicamp. Caught a bunch of passes at Baylor in college. He can return kicks. He can do a little bit of everything. He plays with good speed and power. So, yeah, I do think he's a guy that could be active on game days and give you some real run as a rookie. I think he's got that ability. Bobby Raddick. Is Eddie Jackson going to bounce back this year? I hope so, Bobby Raddick. Is that Andrew's daddy? We'll see. We'll see if Eddie Jackson bounces back this year. I think Jaquan Brisker should help Eddie Jackson because that's a true box safety that can get Jackson back to playing that kind of center field free safety mold that he was doing when he was playing his best football early on in his career. I think there's a chance Jackson could really bounce back. I think this new regime is good for him. It should re-energize him. And if he doesn't, he'll be gone after this year. So it's do or die this season for Eddie Jackson if he wants to remain a Bear. Will Eddie Jackson bounce back in 2022? Type Y for yes, type N for no. What do you think? Will Bojack be a bounce-back candidate this season? Let me know down in the comments section. Brandon Jiddish, what would you think if the Bears landed Anthony Barr, cheap contract due to injuries, but still a stud rusher and solid in coverage? Yeah, I like Anthony Barr. We've obviously seen him a lot over the years, play with the Minnesota Vikings. Good player. You're also right on the money with the injuries. He's been banged up a lot the past couple of years. But if healthy, I think he can be a number 2, number 3 type of linebacker. He's versatile where he can blitz some. He can drop into coverage like you mentioned. So, yeah, and I think, Matt Adams, I don't know how much the arrest comes into it, but he's not really a starting caliber Sam linebacker anyway. I think a guy like Anthony Barr could come in and play that role. Cubs Bryant, do you think Poles will make a huge move just as the Bills did for Stefon Diggs? I don't think this offseason. I could see it next offseason. Like, let this year play out. If Justin Fields shows he can be that guy, then boom, you go get him a big-time weapon. I do think that could be in the cards, that could be a possibility. I don't think it'll happen right now, but I do think down the road it could. Pokemon Gaming 33, how do you feel about PFF ranking the Bears secondary at 30th? I feel like that's disrespectful. I do too. The secondary was not very good last year, but it's clearly better on paper. Another year of Jalen Johnson, that's going to help. Eddie Jackson wasn't that good last year. You assume he'll play a little bit better. Kyler Gordon, if he's your CB2, which we all expect him to be, he's a clear upgrade over Artie Burns and Kendall Vilder. Tavon Young / Thomas Graham Jr., whoever starts at the nickel, should be better than Duke Shelley was a year ago. And then Jaquan Brisker, I think, might end up being the best player in your secondary this year. I think it's possible. He's definitely better than Tashawn Gibson. I think this could be a top 15 secondary if these rooks come in and play well. Gordon and Brisker, if they do, I think the secondary could actually be pretty damn solid. I disagree with that completely. Follow us on Rumble if you want some more Chicago Bears content, free and uncensored videos from yours truly over there. Sports content from other creators, news, politics, tech, business, crypto. You can keep listening to our videos with other apps open, some bonus content from time to time as well. Head over right now, rumble.com/BearsNow. That is rumble.com/BearsNow. Jacob Granados, I believe Zach Thomas will start at right guard, and if we trade Quinn, he might go for a 2nd and 6. What do you think? 2nd and a day 3, 3rd and day 3, that feels kind of right for Quinn. Thomas, I do think, could be in the mix at right guard. Maybe Ja'Tyre Carter could as well. I hope it's not Sam Mustipher. I would much rather go out and sign a free agent. Unclear if that could still be on the table at this point. Might see how things look at training camp early on. Yeah, I think right guard is very much a position that's up for grabs. Danger, how much of a disappointment is Tevin Jenkins not being the favorite to start? Look, if we get through training camp and he's not starting, that's pretty disappointing, I got to say. And I can't even blame Ryan Pace because I was a big Jenkins fan coming out of Oklahoma State. Now, you could blame the Bears for moving him to left tackle last year. I don't think that was smart. I think he was a right tackle, and they moved him over there for some reason. And now they're kind of having to restart with him. Plus, he had the second back injury. That's obviously playing a role, I would think. But yeah, I mean, listen, if he's not a starter on this offensive line, which has real question marks, that's clearly a disappointment. Maybe he could get in the mix at right guard. I'm still hopeful that he can still be a piece for this team, but not positive signs coming out of OTAs and minicamp. That is for sure. Arthur Rocks, do you think the Bears are being cheap or want to let the young players get reps? I think they want to play the young guys. I mean, I think both could be true. Look, when you have $60 million in dead cap, which is about what the Bears have, I think it's about $58 million, you can't spend crazy money. You just can't. Poles wants to carry some money over to next year. They do have some money that they could spend right now, but he wants to carry some of that over to be more aggressive a year from now. I still think they could make a move or two. But, yes, they're trending younger. They want to get some young guys some opportunities, these rookies, and see what they've got because I do think in some ways this is a transition year. So I think both could be true. But I don't think they're being super cheap. But I do think they could spend a little bit more money like on a veteran receiver or a veteran guard or tackle to help this offense a bit. And I still think, and I'll keep saying it until it doesn't happen, until week 1, they could add another piece at one of those two positions. Shout out your favorite NBA team because the NBA offseason is ramping up. Let me know who your favorite NBA team is. I know we got a lot of Bulls fans in here in the comments. So let me know who your NBA squad is right here on Bears Now. You might be a fan of another team as well. Curious to see who your favorite team is. We got Alan Melendez in the chat. Appreciate you joining Bears Now. Top 20 offense, top 15 defense is highly possible. If that happens, I think this team has a real shot at the playoffs because on paper this is the second easiest schedule in the NFL. I would be thrilled if this was a top 20 offense. Like, if you have a top 20 offense, a couple of things have happened. One, Luke Getsy is a good play caller. 2, Justin Fields has taken real steps. And 3, you've gotten some contributions out of some guys at receiver, tight end, and the offensive line that you maybe did not project. If you're top 20, that's a good year. Top 15 defense, I actually think that's possible. If this secondary comes together with these rooks and they play well, I think that could be the case. You still have Roquan. We'll see if Robert Quinn's in the mix. If not, obviously that hurts your pass rush. But, yeah, I would not rule that out for this defensive group. You've got a great defensive staff in place as well with Matt Eberflus and Alan Williams. Ryan Stevenson, will the Bears sign any big names next free agency? You would think so, right? Now, we don't know who's going to be available. Obviously, DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, a couple of guys that could be available unless they sign contract extensions. Terry McLaurin signed his on Tuesday, so he is now off the market for the foreseeable future unless it's a trade. But yeah, I think they should be in play to make some big moves next year. J. Lou, thoughts on Getsy? Beat Green Bay this year since we stole their QB coach, and they lost a lot of staff, even though he's never called a play in the NFL. I'm optimistic. The Athletic put him on their 40 under 40 list in terms of NFL coaches, executives, and agents, just overall up-and-comers. He's viewed that way across the NFL. So I'm optimistic. I think he can't be worse, right? can't be worse than the Matt Nagy, Bill Lazor combination. So I think this offense will improve with him alone. Now you hope some of these players can step up and make some plays as well. Be sure to give me a follow on social media. It's at HGramNFL over on Instagram. It's at HGramNFL over on Twitter. Give me a follow on social media, and we could chop up some more Chicago Bears news and rumors over there as well.